SWX back at Grizzly Softball Field in Missoula, Montana. Let's play two on a beautiful afternoon in Zootown. Kempson Cross alongside Sean Rainey, and we're resetting the docket for game two here. And we start on the Carroll side once again with our impact player, one of the impact players for Carroll, which is Allison Bear, the first baseman.
Yeah, Allison almost hitting .390 on the season. She really is the tone setter offensively for Carroll. She can really swing the shillelagh. She kind of sets the tone. So if Carroll wants to come in and get the second game, which counts as a scrimmage for them, maybe not officially in the scorebook, this game counts, but it's huge as far as their confidence level. If they get a win here, it doesn't matter if it doesn't count in the scorebook. They'll know that it counts.
The hometown first baseman for Montana has been the first baseman basically since she got here, and that's Ashlyn Lyons, the senior for Montana.
Yeah, and she's really taken a step forward in her senior season, including a little bit of power. 5 home runs on the year. Has been doing it with the average, hitting over 300, but also with the slugging percentage. She's really kind of added some pop to her bat this season.
Game two of a doubleheader here with the exhibition rivalry game between Carroll and Montana. We'll see how this one goes. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here in Missoula. We'll see you on the other side. Kempson Cross and Sean Rainey with you as Maddie Stensby is wheeling and dealing. 2 balls, 2 strikes into the mid of Danny Walker so far. And Brooke Brewer, who's leading off the game for the Carroll College Fighting Saints, hitting .196 on the year, is a strikeout victim for the first out of game 2.
Maddie Stensby, the left-hander, 7 starts, appeared in 14 games, 63 innings pitched, a .365 ERA, 48 strikeouts to 16 walks, .365 ERA. Coach Michael says she just kind of comes at you at a different angle. The lefty, she said all lefties are a little different. She said she was a lefty herself, so she's allowed to say that. Just kind of funky delivery. The stuff kind of just comes at the hitters at a different angle than the righties. So we'll see if she can kind of switch things up from the release point of Colleen Driscoll and keep these Carroll hitters off balance.
Stensby tossing .365 as an ERA. .277 average against her. TJ Rucker, junior from Portland, Oregon, up to bat now. Wholesale changes for Carroll throughout their lineup, it looks like, for game 2 here, as this one is a scrimmage for them. That's all it counts as by NAIA bylaws. Exhibition for Montana. They will count the stats. Got their 100th victory in game 1, 3-0 as a program.
Yeah, and so what that means is because of NAIA rules, this game won't count. It won't even go in the record books, like it didn't exist for Carroll. But like I said in the open, you know, they want to come out and play well. If they come out and even if they win this game, I mean, they're going to definitely count it amongst themselves and gives them confidence moving forward. As for Montana, it does count. So if Delaney Colburn hits a couple home runs, those will go on the stat sheet forever. So kind of an interesting way with 2 teams in 2 different leagues and how they go about counting this game.
Courtney Schroeder hitting .286, pitcher and infielder, sophomore from Great Falls, swings through that one. TJ Rucker attempting the stolen base. Throw is in time to Colburn for the outs.
She had a stolen base in game 1, and I thought with a good throw in game 1 that she would have been out. This time it is a good throw, perfectly on the money. Nice tag there by Delaney Colburn. And that's out number 2 here in the top of the first.
Rucker's only been caught a couple times stealing this season. She's now 6 for 8. Schroeder still at the plate with 2 outs now.
Shows bunt, pulls it back. 3-hole hitter with 2 outs, nobody on, probably not laying down the bunt. Just keeping the defense honest.
Talked about the local flavor up and down these rosters. Schroeder from CM Russell High School. And Stensby deals the strikeout. So the Saints go down in order to start game 2. Three batters faced, 3 outs as Rucker was caught stealing in the top of the first. Montana up now in the bottom of the first. Tess Eaton will be wheeling and dealing for Carroll. A .230 ERA leads the team this season.
Yeah, 10-1 on the season. Kind of gets it done in a different way. 82 innings pitched, only 64 strikeouts, 31 walks, which is kind of high for an ERA that low, 10-1, but only 74 hits allowed. So she knows how to spin it and locate her pitches and mix it in and out. Doesn't allow the hitters to get the good part of the bat on the ball very often, but not overpowering stuff from Eaton, but certainly effective.
McGill, the slap hitter, will lead off in Game 2 for Montana as well. She led off in Game 1. And I'm sure Eaton would credit her defense behind her for having such a good record while, like you said, not necessarily overpowering every batter she faces.
Yeah, 2 shutouts, 10 complete games. She just knows how to pitch out there. The San Diego native. Got to give a shout out to my hometown.
That's right. McGill was 1 for 3 in Game 1. Watches that one. Full count from Eaton to lead off the Montana half of the first inning. Wheels and deals the payoff pitch. Swing and foul. But McGill was on her horse down that line. She has the speed to get some infield hits.
Yeah, she certainly does. Rangy center fielder, excellent arm. She will try to throw anyone out if she gets the chance. She also swing the stick a little bit, hitting just under 300 on the year.
Swing and a miss there, and the first out of the Game 2 is a strikeout from Eaton.
Nice pitch there by Eaton. Outside corner, perfectly placed, and like we said, it's not coming at you at 70 miles an hour, but she knows how to locate her pitches.
Colburn, our player of the game in Game 1. She was 3 for 3. Takes ball 1 here. Had an RBI and scored a run herself.
And this will be a fun battle. Delaney Colburn came in at 355 after going 3 of 3 in the first game. Up that to probably in the 360 range, and she is all the way at the front of the box against the slower pitching Eaton. But we'll see. She's now at 371 after going 3 of 3, but she is all the way up in the box and 2-1 now. So it's going to be a fun little chess match here. Eaton to the best hitter for the Grizz, Colburn.
Little ahead of that one, or late on that one, I should say. Sorry, she fouled it down the right field line. Now with a 3-1 count.
Like I mentioned earlier, in 82 innings, she does have 31 walks, so she will nitpick a little bit trying to get the perfect pitch. She gets the perfect pitch right there on the inside corner, but you know she won't give in. She'll want to execute her pitches, and if she walks you, she's okay with that because she knows that she has the stuff to get out of it with runners on.
Another payoff. Fouled out of play by Colburn.
Back-to-back full counts here to start the game for McGill and Colburn.
And that one is inside for the first walk of the afternoon from Eaton. Colburn's first walk as well.
Yeah, she threw her a little spinner hoping that it would start kind of in the box and spin around to the inside corner of the plate. Didn't quite get around on it enough, and a nice eye by Delaney Colburn, who draws the walk.
Ashlyn Lyons hits it right underneath Colburn, and a base hit. Has the 2 and 3 hitters aboard for Montana.
You know, a nice piece of hitting there by Lyons. She saw that the first 2 batters ahead of her went to full counts, so she knows that Eaton's probably wanting to get off, throw a nice little first pitch strike. Well, she jumps all over it and rips a single into right field.
A 1-out single. She was 2 for 3 in the first game, was Lyons. McAllister was 1 for 3 and had an RBI. And she hits this one on the ground to second. McAllister will advance both runners, but be the second out.
So
Gaber on the play.
And so kind of like we talked offensively with Montana, it's been a lot of Colburn and a lot of Lyons. So they combined to go 5 of 6. The rest of the lineup only had 3 hits. So we'll see here in the second game if it could be the other people besides the 2 and 3 hitters that can come through for Montana, as Tori Lettis steps in, and she had a plate appearance with runners on second and third and 2 outs in the first game and couldn't convert. We'll see if she can do it here in the second game.
That one gets away from the catcher. Here comes Colburn. She's going to be safe at home. And 2/3 is Lions, 1-0 Montana.
Yeah, just an outside pitch. One that I don't know if it was a cross-up of pitches, but it looked like it possibly could have been caught by the catcher, but gets by for a pass ball, and the run comes in to score.
Swing and a high drive by Lettis. It'll hang for the center fielder, and that is the 3rd out in the glove of Ashley Davis. So Montana takes a 1-0 lead, but that's all they get in the bottom of the first. Lineups for each of these teams compared to Game 1, as we're in Game 2 of a doubleheader, are pretty similar, and with Carroll up to bat now, we'll just run through it. Right field, number 2, Brooke Brewer. Left field, number 16, TJ Rucker. First base, number 17, Courtney Schroeder. Designated player, number 9, Megan McCormick. And up now is Katie Huisman at catcher, number 5. No, sorry, that's McCormick. McCormick is at bat right now. Second base, number 4, Natalie Gaber. Center field, number 27, Ashley Davis. Shortstop, number 7, Brittany Smith. Third base, number 22, Emily Hill. And the pitcher, of course, is Tess Eaton, as we talked about. And on the defensive alignment, mainly the changes are Stensby in the circle, obviously, as this one is laid down. McAllister will throw over to Lions for out number 1. Danny Walker is behind the plate, and out in right field is Alex Wardlow. Pretty much everything else is the same for Montana.
Yeah, same looking lineup for the Grizz. Carroll kind of flipping the script a little bit, getting a lot of different girls in the lineup. And why not when it's just a scrimmage? You can get all those players that have put in all the time and the work at practice and maybe don't see a whole lot of game action once you're in the middle of the conference season, and especially when you're in the hunt, as Carroll is 5th in the Cascade Conference, currently at 12-8, but only a couple of games back out of first place. So you got to give a little credit to all those girls that are out there practicing hard every day, and this is a scrimmage, so give them a chance to step on this beautiful field here in Missoula and get a chance to go up against Montana and see what a lot of them have.
Katie Huisman hitting .324. Freshman from Great Falls, another CMR product. Swing and into foul territory down the left field line. Fading over from her third base spot is McAllister. So she's had a hand in both outs so far.
Carroll led off game 1. Brooke Yarnell with a leadoff double. The Saints still in search of their first hit, trying to get some good part of the bat on the ball, as Stensby has them a little off balance here in the first couple innings.
Two-0 count to Gaber now. She pinch hit and was 0 for 1 in the first game. Fouls that one over the net. And with the 2-1 count to Gaber, Stensby. Comebacker up the middle. Colburn throws, not in time, gets away from Lyons. Might have been in time if it had stayed in the glove.
Yeah, that was a close one. Good piece of hitting by Gaber, though. Always thinking up the middle. Big one-hopper off the turf. Colburn on the second base side of it. I think she would have been safe either way, even if that was caught. So it's going to be a base hit by Gaber.
Great effort on Colburn's part, though.
But you'll see that sometimes on this turf, especially close to home plate. If you get the top half of that softball, and it's got a lot of top spin, it's going to be jumping over the top of that pitcher, as opposed to maybe natural grass or a dirt infield where that would go back to the pitcher.
Ashley Davis fouls this one out of play. She was 0 for 2 in game 1. And with 2 outs and a runner on first in the top of the second, Carroll trying to get something going. Swing and a miss, and that will be the 3rd out. Maddie Stensby able to strand the runner. Still 1-0 Grizz. Bottom of the second, Montana Grizz coming up to the plate for the 2nd time in this game. And Danny Walker, one of the lineup changes from game 1, is up to bat now for Montana. Hitting 162 on the year in 37 at-bats. Deer Lodge, Montana product.
Yep, Coach Michael really likes the way that she's played defensively at catcher as the backup catcher. Of course, from Deer Lodge, Montana. I'll never forget the last play of her high school career. She actually got ejected from the game, believe it or not. It was up in Ronan. I believe they were playing Florence, and she's coming around third base. It's a play at the plate. She kind of stumbles about 5 feet before home plate and just absolutely obliterates the catcher. I don't think she meant to lower the shoulder and hit her, but she kind of stumbled. And as you can see, like, she's not a small girl. Like, she is tall and built and pretty strong, and she ran over the catcher, and they actually ejected her in the last game of her college career, and that was the high school career, and that was the very last play before she then would suit up for Montana.
She was the first Montana commit to this program as well, so that ferocity taken to the next level with the Grizz as she walks to start this one. And Alex Wardlow making her first appearance of the day.
And I think it took her a season to kind of get used to the jump. It's a big one when you're going from, Montana to Big Sky Conference play, even at the AA level, let alone at the Class B level. So I think it took her a little bit, the speed of the game and just the quality of pitchers that you face in the Big Sky Conference day in and day out, a lot different than the pitchers that you're facing in Class B high school in Montana. So she had that learning curve, but defensively she's always been solid, and she's starting to get that plate discipline as we saw with the walk.
Yeah, talking about Walker there. Wardlow in the batter's box, averaging 157. Benicia, California native. 2016 All Big Sky tournament team. She was on it.
Yep, Bay Area, big Giants fan, which I know myself as a Padres fan, and our producer Jason in the truck, big Rockies fan. We're not too keen on the Giants.
But what you're saying is we would get along, her and I.
Oh, are you a Giants fan?
I am.
Oh man, we got a lot of NL West representing tonight. All right.
Swing and a drive down the left field line, out of play, but some good contact there.
Almost hits a bicyclist who was going down the path there, way out in foul territory.
Got to have your head on a swivel here in Missoula.
Well, then Kempson, I would be remiss to say that the Padres just took 3 of 4 from the Giants.
It's early. Down to short. Safe at first is the call. So still no outs as Walker advances and Wardlow's at first.
Yep, only 60 feet. It's not baseball where those base paths are 90 feet away. So anything soft on the ground, you have a chance to beat it out. And Wardlow showing off the speed. Gets the infield hit. We got runners at first and second. No outs. Bottom of the order coming up.
Smith doing what she could from the shortstop position over there. Petrino lays one down, and it dribbles foul.
Good idea there, and you'll see, watch these hitters. They have the armband, and they have about 10 different things on there of options to do. And you'll see they'll take a look down at Melanie Michael on the third baseline, and she'll put up a number, and there's a grid on that armband that has a ton of different combinations of things that they can do. And they'll switch up those the different grid if they think that the opposing team is trying to steal any of those signals. As you can see her looking at that grid right now, trying to figure out if Michael told her to put the bunt down or not.
And Petrino still trying to do so. Fouls that one back, so it's a 1-2 count. Still no outs. Runners on first and second. And that's got to help keep up with the pace of Division I college softball.
Yep, and we're seeing that at all levels. You're seeing it in Major League Baseball as well. A lot of catchers now are kind of wearing those bands with the grid on it. Just so much easier than, touching the nose, wiping the hat, down the sleeve. What's your indicator? It's just so much easier to just throw up a number, and you got this grid with everything on your armband. It's just a lot easier as we kind of baseball and softball develops over time.
Home plate umpire Jim Anderson said something in the direction of the Carroll dugout, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe a warning on someone down there in the dugout, maybe complaining about balls and strikes.
Jeff Hibbert is at first base. Max Stamper is third base. Few familiar faces around Missoula for softball.
Oh, yeah, these guys are out doing high school. Jeff will even do some of our City League basketball games. He's all over the place.
This one dribbles down the first base line. Petrino.
And a good call there. I think the ball hit her in the box. You could see that right when she hit it, she kind of stopped and hesitated for a split second because she knew it hit her, but nobody said anything. So then she decided to keep running.
And Coach Jackson may be arguing.
Yeah, it was hard to see at that angle, but it did hit her. But, yeah, she was kind of maybe over the box, out of the box there. She was going to hit there. So very easily could call her out, and the umpires are going to meet now. And I think we'll see what they call. But if she's outside of the box and that ball hits her, any part of her, then she's going to be out.
Scoreboard showing a full count. Still no outs.
So, yeah, big call here, Kempson, with runners on first and second. We're either going to have first and second no outs, full count, or 1 out. I think they're going to say that she was a foul ball still in the box. Tough call there. We have obviously the awesome shots on the Billings Metro RV replay that the officials don't have.
Coach Jackson shaking his head a little bit. Not sure he was entirely satisfied with the explanation he got, but full count payoff pitch from Eaton. And Marie Petrino puts it into left field. Rucker's throw will not be in time. Danny Walker will score, and it's 2-0 Grizz as Wardlow is at third, and Petrino will be at first.
Yeah, good piece of hitting right there by Anne-Marie Petrino, and not the best throw there from left field. You'd like to hit your cutoff man, and they didn't, and then that allowed Alex Wardlow to advance to third base. As it looked like it was just a fastball in the outer half. Petrino just serving that out like a waiter out in the left field for the RBI, and there you see the throw going past the cutoff man.
Metro RV of Billings giving us that. Walker slid in there and then touched it with her hand. Just matters that you touch it. 2-0 now for the Grizz.
Round of applause coming from down by our right as Mike Petrino, the Lady Grizz assistant and cousin of Petrino. There's Petrinos all over Montana.
Yep.
And Idaho.
Especially in the Helena area as well. A lot of history with that name in the Treasure State. And Petrino will steal second without a play.
So going back to that non-foul ball out call.
I was just going to say something
Yeah,
about that.
we go from first and second 1 out to second and third no outs, run already in. So big call here early in the ball game.
instead of possibly one out, you have Petrino, who was the recipient of the fortunate call and roping one into left. Martinez looks at that one. 1 ball, 2 strike count. John Ha was out there to talk to Eaton. Swing, and Smith will check the runners and throw over to first. First out.
Nice play there by Smith. You kind of don't want to peek over for too long with Martinez running down the first baseline, but she does a good job making sure Wardlow is staying put and then firing it over to get the speedy Martinez as the lineup flips over for the leadoff hitter, McKenna McGill.
Number 1 spot for number 2, the Claremore, Oklahoma native. Runners at second and third now. As we talked about, 1 out still. And we talked about the bottom of the lineup needing to contribute more to the Big Sky Conference play, especially for Montana. You would like to see the top of the lineup come through here in a big way as well.
Yeah, exactly. The bottom half kind of set the stage here. Danny Walker started it off with a walk, a single by Alex Wardlow, single by Petrino. And so now they're giving it up to the top of the lineup. Prime RBI chances. We'll see if McGill could come through.
McGill shaking up a little bit there.
Yeah, never a good feeling when you take that.
Right,
foul
it was
ball
foul.
right
It
off
was
the
fouled
ankle.
off first, but then hit her. Looks at that one. And that one's back up the middle, and it'll escape the infield. Wardlow will score, and McGill will stay at first. 3-0 Grizz. Petrino to third.
Good piece of hitting by McGill with 2 strikes. Just going up the middle. You don't have to overswing. You don't have to swing too hard. Just always, when in doubt, think up the middle, and she drives it and almost hits it too hard. Wasn't able to score 2 there, as that one was scooting on the ground.
Now 3-0 Montana. Del Colburn up. Takes strike 1 with runners at the corners. We know how much power Colburn has in that bat.
Ooh, good pitch there. Yeah, and Eaton wanted strike 2. You could tell, taking that extra time, throwing the ball in the glove. Good pitch on 0-1, but not called a strike.
Foul down the right field line. Ashland Lions able to duck out of the way. Have not had one escape the yard yet today. 1-2. Colburn foul down the left field line.
Yeah, and this is where Tess Eaton's got to dig down and deep. She has a 2.30 ERA, not used to giving up this many runs early on in the ball game. But with only 1 out, you're facing the other team's best hitter. This is where you got to, dig down and try to limit the damage to just 3.
Colburn thought about it. Instead, it evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Big spot for both these players, trying to come through for their team. Swing and a high drive to left field. Foul.
Yeah, change up just hung there, and Colburn just couldn't quite wait long enough. Hit it hard, but pulled it foul.
Just a little early. It's not like she's behind here, and she's swinging for the fences because that's her mentality. High drive right field over the head of the right fielder, and it will score Petrino. McGill will not get the stop sign. She's going to come home. 2-run double. Delaney Colburn.
Yeah,
5-0 Grizz.
Followed up the changeup with a fastball. Couldn't quite get it by Colburn, and she got all of that one. An absolute line drive rocket off the Jimmy John sign and right, scoring 2. And the RBI machine for Montana coming through in the clutch.
She leads the team in that category. Lions fouls that one off. Still just 1 out. Colburn had 32 RBIs coming into the day.
So far now on the day, Colburn was 3 for 3. Now she's 1 for 1 with a double, 2 RBIs and a run. So make it 4 of 4 with a walk, 2 RBIs and a run. I'd say that's a pretty good day at the plate so far for Delaney Colburn.
Gives her 35 RBIs because she had one in the first game as well on the season. Now that gets through the middle, and Colburn will come home and score before the play gets there. And advancing to second is Lions. 6-0 Grizz.
And again, Kempson, outfielders not throwing to the right bases. Great piece of hitting there by Lions, just going the other way with it. But Colburn was going to score easily, and that throw came home. Easily would have had Lions out at second base. Good job of base running, though, as she saw the throw going home and decided to take that extra base. But those are just the little things, especially when you're the team from the smaller conference. Those are just the little things. Runners getting into scoring position when they don't need to be. If we get a little, bloop single here, that might score a runner when normally it would be runners at first and third. So if you're Carroll, you just got to do the little things right, especially when you're playing up a division.
Inside from McAllister. To McAllister, I should say, from Eaton. Still have just 1 out on the board with Lions at second now. Same situation, basically, just McAllister's at the bat, and she fouls that one right into the Grizz dugout. Everybody's okay.
We've had 3 or 4 dugout shots already today. You could see that this year they had the netting that extends throughout the length of the dugout. Last year that netting wasn't even there. And as a TV guy trying to get highlights for a lot of these games, I mean, we are right there on the sidelines, and you got to be careful, man, because you get some hot shots coming at you.
McAllister, as we mentioned before when she was up, has 1 home run on the season. It was a walk-off against Utah Valley.
If you're going to have 1 home run, might as well make it a good one, huh?
Swing and a miss. Full count now from Eaton.
Nice pitch there on 3-1.
And now we're getting down into the part of the lineup that Montana hopes to get more production out of, as this one's fouled on the ground down the left field line. And Carroll, of course, going into the last couple weeks of their season as well in the conference, going to Southern Oregon this weekend and then coming back home to play Corbin University, who's also from Oregon, a couple of the top teams in the Cascade Collegiate Conference. Swing, and McAllister drives it to the left field, and it's going to be off the fence. Ashland Lions will score standing up to make it 7-0. RBI double standing up at second for McAllister.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely smoked as Montana's really starting to get to Eaton, and I think we're going to have a pitching change here.
We will see Brooke Brown for the first time. Little factoid for you, 64 pitches just in the bottom of the second. Thank you to Joel Carlson for that little nugget. Tori Lettuce will be the first batter that Brooke Brown faces. We'll get you her stats here. She is dealing .484 in 11 appearances. She has 9 starts. She's pitched 61 1/3, 37 strikeouts on the year. Batters hitting .251 against her. So we talked about how this Carroll staff is solid from top to bottom. I mean, there's a little drop-off from their starters, but Brooke Brown as a reliever getting a big opportunity here.
Yep, this is just stop the bleeding here.
Right.
You know, Montana's starting to get it rolling offensively, already 7-0. If you want to play a full 7-inning game, they're going to have to try to clamp down here. Like you mentioned, 61 and a third, 37 strikeouts, 26 walks, and 61 hits in those 61 and a third innings for Brooke Brown, the sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm sure she's enjoyed the nice spring weather at Montana coming from Phoenix.
No question. Tess Eaton went 1 1/3 innings, 7 runs on 7 hits. 6 of those were earned. She dealt 2 walks, a strikeout, faced 13 batters, a couple doubles allowed as well. So that's her final stat line. Brown wheels and deals her first pitch, the 65th pitch of the second inning.
And I always felt it's harder as a pitcher. Not that I'm a pitcher by any means, but I always felt that it was harder as a pitcher to go in the second game of a doubleheader because all of the hitters got to see a bunch of pitches just a little bit ago, and now they're getting their 5th, 6th, 7th time up to the plate of that day. They're in a nice rhythm. They've been seeing a bunch of pitches, and then you got to go out there and try to do your thing after they've already warmed up. So it's always hard pitching in the second game of a doubleheader.
Strike 1 after getting into a 3-0 hitters count from Brown. And she misses there. So a 5-pitch walk is how Brown enters the game.
Just setting up the double play. Getting runners on first and second for a nice little 6-4-3 double play here. Something you don't see too often in softball, but hey, you never know.
Danny Walker hoping to not ground into that, as McAllister still at second after the RBI double.
Danny Walker walked to lead off the inning here in the second. Now is the 9th batter to come to the plate here in the second inning, and Kempson's still only 1 out.
That one gets away from Huseman, and both runners advance.
And that one hit about 6 feet in front of the plate here. So Brooke Brown, 6 balls, 1 strike so far. She gets that one over to make it 2-1 count.
Still in hitters counts. Swing, and Walker grounds it up the middle, and McAllister will score to make it 8-0 Montana. Runners at the corners with still just 1 gone. Walker with the RBI. Here comes Wardlow.
The carousel keeps going around and around right now for the Montana lineup. Alex Wardlow steps in. 10th batter of the inning, only 1 out.
Yeah. Walker.
Over 70 pitches now in the bottom of the second.
Walker was made it trying to I forget how to English is hard sometimes, you know. Trying to formulate words here. The Grizz batted around to Walker because she led off the inning. That's what I'm trying to say. And now Wardlow grounds it to third. Throw home is wide. 9-0 Grizz. Lettuce is safe. Walker advances to third, and Wardlow is also safe at first.
And a tough play there. Thought that they might have had a chance to go second to first for a chance at a double play. Instead, decided to go home with the runner kind of in the path of the throw there, and it went wide. Now it's 9-0 Montana.
Inning recap here. Metro RV of Billings with all our replays.
Petrino, nice little RBI single. McGill, Alex Wardlow coming in to score. And of course, Delaney Colburn just absolutely slashed that double to right field. And Montana, the Bats, have come alive here in the bottom half of the second inning. 8 runs in and threatening for more here with just 1 out.
And a little more local flavor here with Katie Jo Walecko, the Missoula, Montana native of Hellgate High School. Upstairs with runners at the corners. Walecko hitting 200 on the year. One of 11 seniors on Montana's roster.
Let's go, a player that hasn't played a ton in her career, but always showed up to practice and done all the work. But an integral part of this team, chemistry-wise, good athlete, good out in the field.
Been one of the first go-tos for pinch runners, especially throughout her time here with Montana. And she's gotten a little work in the outfield as well. Swing and a miss. Another full count now. Payoff pitch will come. Brown wheels and deals. And strikeout looking is the result there for Katie Jo Walecko. And that sets the stage with 2 outs now for Lexi Knaus, who's 3 of 37 on the year as a freshman out of Meridian, Idaho. Swing and fouled right back up towards the booth in the grandstand.
So Montana now with the 9-0 lead, starting to go deep into their bench.
Wardlow and Walker still the runners that are at the corners. But there's 2 outs now, so Carroll looking for one more. In the dirt, or at least the
turf,
brown part of the turf. All synthetic surface here at Grizzly Softball Field.
Lexi with 3 hits and 37 at-bats. Looking for her 4th hit of her career.
And as far as the surface, the brown plays like dirt. The green plays like grass. Comebacker to Brown. Throw over to first. 3rd out finally, but not before the Grizz get 8 runs and bat around and then some. Grizz in control, 9-0.
Earlier for the Grizz, but right now, Allison Williams, has been a great 2-way player for Carroll. Pitching, she's gone 12-6 on this season, as well as her ERA is just over 2.5, so that's pretty good stats right there. And then on the other side of the ball, batting, she's hitting about a 350, and coming into this week, she had 24 RBIs and 5 home runs. She'll be one to watch for in the rest of this game as well.
Thanks, Annika. Allie Williams started the first game of the afternoon for Carroll, and she did some good work from in the circle and roped one to left center field that almost left the yard. But Montana just able to grind out the 3-0 victory in game 1.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty impressive as in comes Haley Young for Montana.
Young, wearing number 33, dealing .318 in 11 innings pitched.
The senior from Bixby, Oklahoma. Came over from Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, the senior transferred a couple of years ago, and McKenna McGill was a big part of why Young ended up at Montana, both of them from Oklahoma. Played on the same club or travel team, I believe. They knew each other from being from the same state, and McGill was her main connection coming up here to UM.
But getting back to Allie Williams, pretty impressive when you can hit in the cleanup spot. That's got a high fly ball to shallow left.
Running in to make the catch is Walecko, who has been inserted into left field there, and so Smith flies out to start the 3rd inning.
But at any level, pretty impressive when you can be a top pitcher in your conference and also lead your team in RBIs and home runs and hitting the cleanup hole. Allie Williams out here looking like Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher for the Angels, who has taken Major League Baseball by storm, although Mookie Betts and the Red Sox did rough him up a little bit the other night.
Red Sox, one of a couple franchises that are off to one of, if not the best franchise starts in franchise history.
14-2, something impressive.
Yeah, the Mets are off to a great start as well at the major league level for baseball. Hope to be doing some baseball here in the coming months over the summer and such.
And the Giants not off to one of the better starts. Sorry, the digs, man. I gotta keep throwing them in while I can because the record's not going to stay like that forever. The Padres
no, it's not. That you notice I'm not talking back to
exactly. You. Exactly. The Padres aren't going to be the best National League team in California for very long, but they're.
Yeah, take it. Hey, at least you're better than the Dodgers. I'll take that.
Oh, they lost a tough one to the Dodgers last night in extra innings.
Yeah. Record-wise. Swing and a miss from Emily Hill, so her first appearance is a strikeout. Haley Young doing a good job so far in the circle for the Grizz.
So get back to Montana, 7-5 in the Big Sky Conference, the returning champs. It's been an up and down year. They won 4 in a row, lost 5 in a row, have won 4 in a row. But talking to Coach Melanie Michael, she honestly said that a lot of the team was talking about going undefeated in conference coming into this game and just being maybe a little bit too overconfident. Maybe not overconfident, but just they thought with the success that they had last year is that one's going to get down.
By, well, let's go. And
it's going to be a long run
might be a triple. Safe at third with a 2-out triple is Brewer.
I tell you what, that's a pretty good effort there from the shortstop, Delaney Colbert. She's the one that got that ball way out in the left corner. She did not give up on that one. It's a pretty good hustle play there from your captain and your leader.
That moves Brewer into the team lead with her second triple of the season. Several Saints players, as Metro RV of Billings shows you the replay, several Saints players tied at 1, but now she moves in to the team lead with 2. TJ Rucker up now. And, yeah, Del Colburn, since the beginning of her time here with Montana, has been a spark plug for this program.
Yeah, she absolutely has. And it's plays like that that don't show up in the box score, but certainly show why she's one of the leaders on this team. She very easily could have just turned and watched that play happen, but she got all the way down into that corner and kept it at a triple. Could have been an inside-the-park home run maybe. But a tough in-between play there for Katie Jo with Let's Go. You kind of, once you start committing there, it's tough, and then you have the turf, and it always takes a quick hop on the turf on that first one. But Haley Young bails out her left fielder, gets the strikeout to end the inning.
Still 9-0 Grizz after the Saints had a threat. Montana Grizz up 9-0 after putting 8 runs up in the bottom of the second. Danny Walker led off that inning, and here is McKenna McGill after all is said and done with the second inning, leading off the bottom of the third. Still out there in center field.
You get back to that, what I was talking about with Melanie Michael and saying the team thought, she had whispers of the players saying that they might go undefeated, and then they kind of hit a rough patch there and lost a few games in a row. She said that this last weekend on the road at Southern Utah, they got back to being the gritty team. Like they were always, as a new program, you're kind of the underdog. Nobody expects much of you, and you're going to find ways to grind out wins. And I think that they thought that after winning the conference last year that they might just do it with their talent or with their 10 seniors, and they didn't really have to have those gritty wins and really, grind out those games. And she said that they kind of got back to their roots and how they like to play softball this last weekend at Southern Utah. And it's going to set up a home series this weekend with Portland State coming to town, and we'll be doing that game on Sunday. But only a few more series left in the Big Sky Conference.
Smith just beats McGill with the throw for the first out. And, yeah, being here for pretty much the entire time that the program has existed, doing their home games at least for the program, I mean, if it isn't broken, don't fix it, you know? I think that, yeah, like you're saying, getting back to not necessarily to being maybe in a more of an underdog role will be helpful.
And then it's also, though, when you win the title, everybody
Right.
is going to come to face you, and it's kind of the cliche, like you have the target on your back.
Mhm.
But talking to them, they said that they've sensed that from every team. Every team looks forward to playing Montana, and they're going to give them their best shot. We've kind of talked about that with Montana over the years with maybe the football program or the basketball program, and now we're starting to see it with softball. As the teams, they look forward to playing the champs. It's a good barometer for them to see how good that they're playing that season, and Montana's been getting everybody's best effort so far this year, and so far 7-5 in conference, tied for second place with 3 other teams.
Another walk to Colburn.
Weber State's at 8-4, game ahead of them, and so far it's last few years it's been whoever wins the regular season gets to host the tournament, and that's something that these seniors missed out on by 1 game last year. They really wanted to host it here, and why not? This facility is absolutely beautiful, and they thought that they were going to have that opportunity this year, but late in the year, the Big Sky Conference kind of changed the ruling, and they said that whoever wins the regular season the year before gets to host, which means Weber State is going to host the tournament as Ashland Lions pops up to the shortstop. But they were pretty disappointed in that, and they really had a thought that they would have a chance to host, and that kind of came out of nowhere. And even Coach Michael, not really sure. She really wasn't a part of that conversation. But it will be at Weber State, which is where they played the championship last year. Of course, they went down there and were able to win it and then go on to regionals when they faced Washington. But these 10 seniors definitely wanted a chance to be able to host that tournament. And it would have been fun for the fans to have it here in Missoula.
Especially with this new grandstand. That one is through the hole on the left side, and McAllister with a 2-out base hit extends the inning to Morgan Johnson, the Big Sky High School grad, wearing number 27.
And McAllister swinging the bat pretty well here in the second game. She kind of struggled in that first one and came in with, not the best of averages, but hitting in that 5-hole. And she's starting to swing it pretty well. Came in at 195 on the season. And she's one of those players maybe could be an X factor for Montana if she can start getting hot.
One of 2 freshmen that have made significant contributions for Montana, the other being Tristan Achenbach, the CMR product in the pitching staff that we may not see today, but she's worth mentioning.
If you want to talk about raw power, that's Morgan Johnson coming up right now. I remember shooting a lot of her high school games, and she had a lot of home runs in high school. Only 1 for 22 on the year, so putting the ball in play, maybe a key emphasis for Morgan Johnson, but when she does, if she gets a hold of one, she can get it way out of here.
Montana has a good hold on this game, so they're giving the whole roster chances today, and that's a great thing, especially in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, we're seeing it with Carroll in this second game. It's kind of Carroll's, it is 9-0 here, but it's kind of Carroll's backup team as we see the catcher get a nice play there.
Nice play by Huseman to end the 3rd inning. We go to the top of the 4th, 9-0 Grizz. Top of the 4th inning coming up here. As it is 9-0 Grizz, and Haley Young spinning it in the circle. Grizz went up 1-0 after 1 inning and then got 8 in the bottom of the 2nd. Courtney Schroeder up now, 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
And Haley Young with 3.18 ERA on the year. Maybe the one forgotten in this pitching staff. And you obviously have Michaela Hood, who's kind of the dominant pitcher, the one that gets all the attention. Colleen Driscoll we saw in game 1. She kind of is the number 2. And then we see Maddie Stensby, the 3rd. But Haley Young, pretty talented pitcher herself. But maybe doesn't get the innings that she would like, but that's just because it's such a talented pitching staff here at Montana.
And speaking of playing time, Lexi Knaus is getting some at second base, number 22. regular starters still in are Colburn at shortstop, McGill at center, Lyons at first, and McAllister at third. The rest of the Grizz lineup has had some turnover throughout this game.
Courtney Schroeder has quite the interesting batting stance. Coming from behind her, we can almost see the bottom of her right cleat as she is very much on the inside of her right foot. And then a very wide stance. Very unique batting stance from Schroeder.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Swing and a miss. Young gets her to chase it and gets the strikeout.
You can tell right when she struck out, she went straight to McCormick there and told her a little message. We'll see if it pays off for McCormick, who steps in with 1 out.
0 for 1. Base is empty. For McCormick, who grounded out to McAllister. Swing and a hit over to Colburn in time for out number 2. Saints with just 2 hits in this second game.
So Kempson, you know, Carroll in the Cascade Conference. Tell us how the conference plays out, their tournament, and what Carroll has to look forward to here down the stretch.
Yeah, trying to get into a transfer spot to the main event, so to speak, with their 5th. They were 5th in the Cascade standings, or picked 5th, I should say, in the preseason conference poll, and that's not an indictment of them as a program. There's some pretty good programs in there from the Oregon and state of Oregon and Washington at the NAIA level, as that's fouled down the left field line by Huseman. And as I mentioned in game 1, we talked a little bit about it already. I think that Carroll is going to give whoever shows up at the Cascade Conference tournament a run for their money. Between their solid batting lineup, offensive production that they have, and they call it foul down the right field line. Lyons flashes a smile.
Does the winner of the Cascade Conference tournament then get to
automatic bid into the NAIA tournament, just like the Grizz do at the NCAA level, and that would be huge, a huge way to punctuate what is already the best season of this in the history of this Young program. As a strikeout looking from Young, Grizz looking good, up 9-0. Montana and Carroll softball at Grizzly Softball Field, second game of a doubleheader. And Carroll out in the field. I believe we should have Coach Aaron Jackson join us on the program during this 4th inning. That's typically our custom. And Carroll's out in the field now. We had Melanie Michael on earlier. We appreciate her time in that, and we appreciate Coach Jackson if we're able to get him.
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
There he is. How's it going, Coach?
It's going good.
So, I mean, today, so far, you had the 3-0 loss in the first game, and then you got this game as well. But still, like we talked about before the game, it's a marquee matchup for you every year, and it's a great opportunity to go against the Division I program in Montana.
Yeah, you know, it's always a pleasure to come over here and play and get this midweek. It really sets us up for the next 2 weeks and in our conference when we battle 2 tough opponents, and so we use it as to get some extra at bats and you know, face some better pitching just to get us prepared for the last 2 weeks of our conference play.
Yeah, we were just talking about that actually before our last break, just the fact that you're playing Southern Oregon, you're playing Corbin over the next couple weeks, and it's such a huge home stretch for you because those are 2 of the premier teams in your conference, and so it's a great opportunity to see some of the marquee athletes in the state of Montana before you go over there.
Yeah, you know, Corbin finished 2nd in the country. Last year, Southern Oregon was top 5 and both in the top 10 in the AI, so you know, it is a challenge for us, but, you know, we're right there, right in the hunt, 3 games back with 6 to play, and we feel very confident to get over to Southern this weekend to win that series and get back home for our last series and try to win that one and just climb the ladder as high as we can. It's positioning ourselves for the playoffs, that conference tournament, and see how high we can get.
Coach Sean Rainey here. Talk about what the Glacier Wolfpack alum, Allie Williams, has brought to your guys' program, pitched a great game in game one, almost hit a home run, and just what she's brought to you guys both in the circle and at the plate.
Yeah, Allie's been phenomenal. Allie's been the sorry loser on a couple games this year. We've pitched in some tough games, but she's just been phenomenal in the circle for us, pitching with great confidence right now. And then her bats really came around the last couple weeks for us. Has been phenomenal at the plate, and that ball ticks off the fence a different way. It's out of here, and just a great composure at the plate and on the mound is just a force to be reckoned with.
Coach, we can kind of hear the dugout through your mic. Sounds like you got some good energy going on over there, and that's one thing that you guys have been able to keep as you went through the opening stretch of playing 30 straight games away from Helena, and now you're trying to take that through that successful homestand and into the rest of the season, right?
Yeah, energy is one thing that we talk about a lot. It's about our culture. It's about who we are. We're loud in the dugout. We support each other. We love each other, and it's just a huge piece of our culture. I mean, other teams might get a little annoyed with it, but it's who we are and what we're about. And so every once in a while I got to remind them that that's a big piece of our culture. And, it just makes the game that much more enjoyable when everyone's in the game. And then it prepares them when they get their opportunity. I mean, to be in there 100% supported other teams makes that pinch hit or that substitution that much easier when you get that opportunity.
Coach, especially with the weather up in Helena, what's it like just getting out here, the sun shining, and playing softball in some softball weather here?
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm in shorts today. So, and I'm looking forward this weekend in Ashland's supposed to be 72, so it might be shorts and a short sleeve T-shirt. I haven't been that since February in California, so looking forward to that. It's been a brutal winter, but with some great help from local high school and some supporters we were able to get that 10-game home stretch last week and stay in Helena and didn't have to come over here or make big adjustments. So just appreciative of that. And what a great day it's been. Great weather. Sorry, I thought we were going to have a great play there, but
almost got her.
I was just going to segue into the great play, but it's great to be over here. This relationship has been so much fun for our program. And so much fun for our coaching staff, starting with Coach Pink and then just transition right into Mel. I mean, we can't ask for a better relationship between the two of us, and just love supporting each other. And then to get on the field and competing just brings the relationship to a whole new level.
Coach, one more for you if we can squeeze it in. What is your program here in Montana, getting their program up? How has that changed maybe high school Montana softball that you've seen?
Yeah, what it does is allow girls to dream to play at the next level and ups the game for them. We can offer camps and instruction and get out to coaches and talk about how to improve the game. And so I just think that we're going to see a continued growth in the game. It's awesome. We play at Centennial Park, which is a local park there, and it's got 4 diamonds. And every afternoon when we get done with practice and during our practice, there's always 4 or 5 teams practicing out there, and so it's great just to see that growth of fast pitch softball. And then we can give back to them. It's always nice. We drag all the fields for them, make sure they got a good playing surface. And then our kids give back to them. We'll stop and watch practice for a little bit, invite them over, and just give them some words of encouragement. So it's awesome. I mean, I hope more schools add. It's just a great sport and a great spring sport that can really be a marquee sport at an institution.
Yeah, Coach, one last thing, very last thing, I promise. You and your sister are both coaches there at Carroll, so how did that come about real quick?
Yeah, we just were fortunate to be able to I get the job, and then she just finished up playing.
Ooh, what a play.
What a great play by Dave there, man. That's all out. So just a special relationship. I mean, Sarah has really developed into a great coach. and has learned a lot. And he had John there. It's almost like a dad and grandpa to us both, and it's just a great staff. Can trust them all, and I allow them to coach and be their own coach. So it makes my job pretty easy.
Coach, thank you for your time. We're going to take a break here, and we really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, while the girls have been out here playing, the recruiters have been busy at work. There have been 2 new Montana high school girls that have signed letters of intent this week. Kaylin out of Polson has signed, as well as Brooklyn has out of right here on Missoula Sentinel. So we will have a couple new faces. That makes 6 total new girls coming to this team next year. So we'll be looking for some new faces as well as a few returners as well. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Annika. We've talked about that a little bit during the doubleheader, throughout this doubleheader, really. All the local flavor that is kind of accentuated by some out-of-state recruits as well.
Yeah, but Coach Michael said Megan McGrath out of Salem, Oregon can really hit the ball. She said that out of this recruiting class, she really got some players that can thump it a little bit. They got the pitchers in place already and went and got some offense. And it's interesting. We talked about the class distribution earlier, Kempson, with 10 seniors graduating. She didn't want to fill those 10 spots with 10 freshmen because then, obviously, when they're seniors in 4 years from then you got to fill it with 10 other spots. So she wants to try to even it out a little bit. So they're bringing in 6, and then she's going to try to get a couple transfers, maybe some junior college transfers, which you actually don't see too much at the softball level. But try to get some transfers there to kind of fill out the roster, and then maybe just have a couple extra spots that you normally don't have, and then get a bigger class the year after. As you see the 6 there, Megan McGrath, the infielder I talked about, she kind of described her as Tristan Achenbach, body type and size that can really hit. So that is a big get for Montana. But, yeah, bringing in the 6 and then try to filling out the class so it makes it more even throughout the years.
And the top of the 5th inning will expire with the Grizz up 9-0. And it looks like we're going to shake hands here with...
Yep, I think if you're up 8 after 5, that's going to do it.
Grizzly Softball Field, Missoula, Montana. Kempson Cross alongside Sean Rainey. Grizz win 9-0 in Game 2 of this exhibition doubleheader. 9 runs on 10 hits, 1 error. Saints had 2 hits and no runs with an error on their side as well. And a solid performance here by Montana, especially with that 8-run second inning where they got some of the offensive production that they've been craving.
Yeah, they got the bats going a little bit. Tess Eaton, really good pitcher, had a rough go of it here. But also I think, Carroll kind of went to deep in their bench here for this scrimmage for them, tried to get a bunch of girls some at-bats and the experience of playing on this field and playing against Montana. And you could see it defensively. They weren't as strong as they were in the first game when all the starters were in there. I thought in the first game, Carroll, played a really, really solid game. Allison Williams pitched really well, and I thought they played really solid in that 3-0 loss. In this one, Montana just got it going, and Delaney Colburn again, 4 of 4 on the day, 1 for 1 with a double today, and I like the hustle play. Yep. The play where it got by Katie Jo Aletsko out in left field, and the shortstop is the one running all the way out to the fence there and left to get the throw in. And Delaney Colburn, as she goes, this Montana team goes, and she went today, and so did Montana.
Yeah, Montana altogether gets 12 runs on 18 hits today and limited Carroll to 6 hits and no runs. And, of course, they're out by the entrance there. A tradition started under Coach Pinkerton, and that has been continued as the players go out to show their appreciation for the fans of Grizz Nation that come out to give them some of the best attendance numbers in the Big Sky. Download the Watch SWX app right now, available on Google Play and iTunes Store. You can, if you're not near a television, you can watch the game on Sunday as we're going to be back out
you can
here.
watch the game anytime you want after it already aired. So if you're watching right now and you have a family member or a friend that didn't get to check out the action, tell them to download the app and they can watch it here in a little bit. Our next telecast will be Portland State at Montana here Sunday at 1 o'clock. I'll be on the call with Ben Wyman. It's going to be a fun one. Montana getting into their last 2 conference series. We want to thank everyone in the truck for making this happen, and all the camera guys that are out there putting themselves in harm's way. We had a foul ball hit a tripod in a game this year already, so they're out there risking their livelihoods to get us all these beautiful shots, so we appreciate them as well.
Yeah, talking of that, a little bit of housekeeping here. Dinner for tonight's SWX crew was provided locally by the notorious PIG, using techniques and recipes learned from the world-famous pitmasters of St. Louis. They bring Missoula barbecue as it's meant to be, smoked over local cherry and apple wood with sauce on the side. Located at 247 Front Street and online at notoriouspigbbbq.com. Come taste the classics that got them voted best barbecue in Missoula. Ribs, pulled pork, beef brisket, all kinds of barbecue over there. And well, thank you for joining us on a day where the Grizz sweep the doubleheader. And for Sean Rainey and our entire SWX crew, coming live from a van down by the river, I'm Kempson Cross. Y'all come back.